Let's roll, baby. Welcome into the Week 8 edition of Ringer Wise Guys right here, of course, on FanDuel TV. The boys are back by popular demand. We got a lot of winners coming your way. It is Halloween, so in the spirit of Halloween, I've taken the show on the road. No, I am not going to be Mr. Met for Halloween. I know there's way too much Met paraphernalia in my background. We're in the great compound of someone who might be joining us maybe a little bit later on in the show. But guys, because it is Halloween weekend, had a great kick-ass party at the compound. I'll give you a little sneak peek, a little taste. Look at that. Ace Ventura laced is out, Dan. Look at Snowflake. Finkel and Einhorn nowhere to be found. Sal, how do we grade Ace Ventura right there?
I like it, but you probably do it every year as a Dolphins fan. You're like, yeah, let's go as Ace Ventura. This is why I like this team, which is bizarre, but my reasoning isn't much better. But you look good. I give it a solid A for both.
I'll take an A. Now, rumor has it you too also got dressed up in the Halloween spirit. So, you care to share?
I did, yes. We had a college-themed Halloween party last night. I am there, Thornton Mellon the third, right there from Back to School, Rodney Dangerfield. No respect. And you could bet, and people don't know this, way back in the day, 1986, FanDuel was a very small operation. You can bet on whether or not Rodney Dangerfield was going to hit the triple Lindy at 750,000 to 1. And one guy was lucky, he did it. Elon Musk, I think was his name. Yeah.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. House, no Halloween spirit for you. I think next year, though, you got to channel your Dangerfield, maybe dress up as the Caddyshack version of Rodney. Just saying.
Oh, yeah.
JJ, do you see how I'm dressed? Every week is Halloween for me. At least it makes sense, though. We are in a scary slate, at least for me. I had a hard time this week. But I got the green shirt because I think there's some cash. There's some cash coming.
Oh.
Well, I like the sound of that. And Raheem, speaking of it being a scary slate, we do not have any bye weeks, which is advantageous. Full slate, full card, and definitely a couple of games that I think we want to avoid teasing. One of these is definitely going to end up throwing a pie right back in our face.
Oh, yeah, with doubt. I mean, if you look at some of the rat lines this week, there's a lot of them. So we're going to hit all of those, hopefully give you guys some winners and not scare you off any of these games.
So a lot cooking here on the Week 8 edition of Ringer Wise Guys. The boys will dive in momentarily with their wisest wagers of the week. I'm going to try to make it 3 straight. We'll see how that shakes out. The Wise Guys also going to get involved with SGPs. Just saying, I've had Dolphin games the last 2 weeks. Is there going to be a Dolphin game for the 3rd straight week? The rat lines, we smell them out. You don't want to get made like Tommy did in Goodfellas. We got you covered there. And then after we finish up, we're even going to have a digital time guest after the show ends. You want to check that out on all our digital platforms with our buddy and our pal from, I don't even know what his show's name is because I've been on it 10 zillion times, but Tate Frasier, he's a rock star through the ringer. Everyone mad at me that I don't know the synergy. Let's get right to our wisest wagers. Let's do it, shall we? It's time to wisen up. Sal, you were all over it last week. You nailed the winner. Seattle over Arizona. What do we have in store for week? Hey, listen, better lucky than good. I don't care how you get it. A win is a win. What's in store for us today?
Absolutely. Going for 2 in a row, which would be a world record for me. Well, listen, you're going to have to wait until Monday for this one, and the line is jumping all over as if it's kicking off in 20 minutes, but it's not. Lions -8 over the Raiders. I really like this. Like I said, skip everything. Do your pumpkin patch picking today on Sunday. The game to watch is Monday night. Lions over the Raiders. They looked horrific last week against Baltimore. Good bounce back situation against the Raiders, who only score 18 points a game in primetime under Josh McDaniels. Pretty good sample size there. 6 games. Raiders dead last in rushing. Meanwhile, Lions have a trouble with mobile quarterbacks. That's not the case with Jimmy G or Hoyer or O'Connell. They are not mobile. They're not going to move. Statuesque in the pocket. Meanwhile, Goff 3-1 against the number in primetime with this team. It's a shame they don't have the Lions amongst the highest scorers, JJ, because that's usually just a Sunday special thing. But you could take Lions to win exactly 41-13 at 220 to 1. Someone jump on that with me.
I like the sound of that. And listen, anytime you have an opportunity to take Jared Goff and that high-flying Lion team at home, You like it a lot better than when they take their show on the road. They're one of those classic dome teams that puts up a ton of points in that building. Love the spot for them on Monday night. Listen, when in doubt, fade the Raiders and fade Josh McDaniels. It usually is going to treat you nicely. All right, House, let's treat us nicely. What do we got for our wisest wager?
Yeah, this is not a trick, I promise. I'm trying to deliver a treat. We're going right into the cemetery with the scariest game of the week on the board. The Carolina Panthers plus 3.5 at home against the Houston Texans. Most important aspect of this, speaking of cemetery, is that Frank Reich as a play caller is now a tombstone. He has ceded play calling duties to a genuine, innovative fella, a guy named Thomas Brown, who is out of the Rams, the Sean McVay coaching tree. Now, look, part of this is the situation. The look ahead in the preseason for this game was Carolina at home -3. It has moved 6.5 points in the other direction for Houston, and that is because the Carolina Panthers have not covered a game yet this season. The Texans are coming in here covering 4 straight, but that's too big of a point adjustment for me. I like this situation of Carolina winless off of a bye, coming in here as a dog in week 6. There's a nice trend for this I'll mention, but if we get into the X's and O's, Bryce Young has been pretty good over the last couple of games, thrown for about 465 yards, 4 touchdowns, only 2 picks. He's facing a Texans pass defense that likes to play zone. Bryce Young surprisingly pretty good against zone. I also like the health direction for this Carolina Panthers. Miles Sanders is back, so he'll be sharing carries with Chuba Hubbard. And my guy, Austin Corbett, the right guard, their best offensive lineman, is back in the mix. So this is a nice situation for Carolina, at least to cover. I think there might be some reason to bet on them to win outright. We might get to that a little bit later, but I like the Panthers here catching the 3.5.
I like you getting frisky going with a winless team, but you're right. This line is a gross overreaction. And I know Houston been competitive with Stroud. D'Amico Ryans has kind of thrusted himself in that coach of the year mix. Laying 3.5 on the road with the Houston Texans. No, thank you. I like it, House. All right, Raheem, let's get funky. Let's get wacky. I know you're kind of mixing it up on us here with your wisest wager, and I think that's going to suit you nicely. I like it. Let's hear it. Let's go.
I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. First half money line -125, and the Jaguars to win the game -2.5. You could split those half units apiece for 1 full unit. What do I always say on this show? There's only so long fake thugs can pretend, and the Steelers are the biggest fake thug of all. You look at the Steelers team, they've won 4 straight one-score games. You look at the last 2 weeks, they won games against the Ravens. They won games against the Rams. They were outgaining every statistical category, whether that's yards, rushing yards, passing yards, yards per rush, time of possession, first downs, third down efficiency. This team is winning on smoke and mirrors. It's voodoo. But it's Halloween weekend. I know it's a lot of sharps on the Steelers. I am not scared of that Mike Tomlin voodoo at all, because this is a great spot for the Jaguars to pick up another win before they go on a bye. We look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are very decent at generating pressure and blitz at the 4th highest rate. That's not going to bode well for Kenny Pickett, whose turnover-worthy play percentage rises from 1.9 to 5.4% when blitzed this year. The Steelers, they also struggle against the run, so I expect Travis Etienne to have a big day. More importantly, this Steelers team is also dead last in red zone trips, so they don't generate a lot of points. It's all turnovers, and if the Jags don't turn over the ball, they win this game. I put first half and full game. I think you'll get at least a split, but honestly, I think you win both of these going away. The Jaguars take them into the deep waters and drown them.
I don't want to hear about a split, Raheem. Come on now. I think you're going to hit both. And Sal, full disclosure, when we did our East Coast Bias show, Raheem was all over this. I stole wisest wager from him, so I had to be deferential. You know, I got to honor my man, Dream, Sal. I take care of my boys.
I love him. He's all over. I have a different take on this game a little bit later on in the show, but of course that looks good. Of course his reasoning is sound. Of course the Steelers are going to give you a heart attack for 97.5% of the game. It's the other 2.5%. Did I do that math right? I'm not sure. Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
You might have, and I'm just sick and tired of losing money on the Steelers. So what I am going to do is go in a different direction for our Week 8 wisest wager. And I know a lot of people are dying and jumping and salivating over the possibility of taking the Cincinnati Bengals off of a bye. The idea that Cincinnati now is turning their season around. They barely beat the Cardinals. They barely beat the Seahawks. Well, guess what? This is a great, not a good, a great buy low opportunity on the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy is playing. I know there was a lot of confusion. There was a lot of question about whether or not Brock Purdy was going to be able to give it a go. He will be out there. Christian McCaffrey will be giving it a go. And I just don't see how Cincinnati is going to hold up in blocking that San Francisco front. And here's the other thing, guys. Cincinnati, despite all this public love they're getting this week, despite the fact that they've won 2 games in a row, their win total on FanDuel is 8.5 at the moment. So mind you, it's 8.5. What does that mean? Bengals, I think, are going to lose a couple of these games here. Give me the Niners. They are not losing 3 straight games. They win. They cover. House, I know you don't like it because I know what direction you lean. We did a podcast early in the week, but sorry, buddy, it's going to be a big day in the Bay.
My main complaint with it, JJ, is the pass rush idea. We just watched the San Francisco team at Minnesota up against a quarterback that in prime time, if you put any pressure on him whatsoever, he is dying to wilt. The Minnesota Vikings had 9 drives on Monday night and had at least 30 yards on all of them, and were in scoring position in all of them, except for the very first drive where Kirk Cousins had to get his interception out of the way. My big problem with San Francisco is not the injuries on offense. It's this defense. They just are not the same defense as we saw at the beginning of the season. But I'll get into it a little bit when we talk about why I like the Bengals in an upset money line position when we get to our dog of the week, JJ.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And at least when it comes to Niners and Bengals, somebody has to win. Now, Sal,
Yeah.
I have had great success going with my favorite team in SGPs. Rumor has
False.
it.
Oh,
Yeah, that
okay.
is not false. That is not fake news. And we could check the tape the last 2 weeks to just ram it, somewhere where the sun don't shine, and that's what we're gonna do. But rumor has it you were following my model in trying to win us an SGP. Is that accurate?
Didn't the Dolphins just lose to the Eagles like
hold on a second.
12 hours ago? I don't know.
They may have lost the game, but our SGP, which did not take the side, was a winner.
All right. It's hard to take you seriously. You have like an aquarium in the background. I feel like as a Filipino family is going to walk through and admire the manatee any second now. But I love you. And I am, yes, you're right. I'm taking the Cowboys. Same game parlay, -2.5. This is the 1 p.m. kickoffs. You get a nice little bonus on these. 2.5. They're rested. They should win by a field goal. Not a ton of points in this one. So I'm going under 61.5. Karen Williams is a no-go, and Dallas defense is 3rd versus the pass. So it's going to limit the Rams what they do with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua and everybody else. Now, my quirky leg is this Jake Ferguson anytime touchdown. He has 11 red zone targets. This is a fun one. He's going to come through. And by the way, I'm not biased at all. I don't know why anyone would say that. So please consider taking this at +415. Boys -2.5, under 61.5. And Jake Ferguson, anytime touchdown.
Well, I like the idea of getting involved with the tight end. Raheem, this Rams-Cowboys game, interesting because the line was at 6.5 throughout most of the week. Then it moves off that 6.5 and gets to 7. You read anything into that or not particularly?
I've read the fact that there's probably sharp money on both sides. And I've seen, really sharp guys hit one side and I've seen sharp guys hit the other side. So it seems like there's a difference of opinion. As for me personally, I don't have much of an opinion on this game. I just have a hard time trusting this Cowboys offense laying big numbers just because what we've seen from the McCarthy offense this year has left a lot to be desired.
Gentlemen, if you remember last week, we had question about whether or not our boss, our friend, our fearless leader, Bill Simmons, was going to make it back from Boston. He was on a party of one on his return from Boston to Los Angeles. Well, good news is he made it back safely, and he decided because last week went so well, he wanted to join the Ringer Wise guys again. Podfather, what do you got, buddy?
Hey guys, Glasses Bill, taping this late Saturday night. I forgot to send this to you. I might have had a couple drinks. It's possible. Same game parlay, Pats Dolphins. Pop Douglas, 27.5 over receiving yards. We're going to do adjusted over 31.5 for Pats Dolphins. And then Pats adjusted plus 4.5. I think this is a close game. I believe in the Pats to either win or almost win. This will probably come down to Mac Jones sucking in the last 3 minutes in Miami with a chance to win the game. Regardless, plus 405 on FanDuel. Glasses Bill loves this one. Love to all.
Well, I appreciate the fact that the Podfather playing hurt after the big Halloween shindig and still was nice enough to give us a pick. Unfortunately, House, he just loves getting under my skin, even though I think 2/3 of his parlay legs kind of make sense. You know I don't want to be rooting for this one. Come on, man. You know I'm not giving him my blessing. No way.
JJ, my problem isn't so much with the parlay. I get the logic of it. It makes sense. My real problem with this is that it's Glasses Bill. If everybody recalls, Glasses Bill 2 weeks ago came on this show and gave a lot of performance that ended up being a betting apocalypse. He gave out the Eagles in every single leg possible. Of course, the Eagles went out and lost on Sunday night to the Jets. This is house fading Glasses Bill. Otherwise, loving the parlay, though, to be honest.
I have to say, I don't know if it's Glasses Bill or 3 glasses of Chardonnay Bill. I don't know what we should call them, coming up with these crazy cockamamie Patriots same game parlays. But listen, I hope he wins it. I really do, JJ, because we're losing Bill, glasses or otherwise, to the sport of basketball. And so let some of these Patriots parlays hit. I'm trying to convince him to go over 5.5 wins for the rest of the season, or, total. Yeah, Glasses Bill, hit this. Plus 405 with your garbage team.
Yeah, I think Glasses Bill might need to put the contact lenses back in, because I don't know what you guys have seen from the Patriots in Miami the last 10, 15 years, but it's a house of horrors. I wish them the best of luck, but I think that leg of the parlay is not hitting.
And remember, Jalen Ramsey will be back making his debut for the Miami Dolphins, the long-anticipated debut of Jalen Ramsey, who's way ahead of those timetables. They were talking about early December. Some people were saying it was going to be a season-ending injury. Well, he's back before Halloween. So Dolphins, Patriots, with the Dolphins laying 8.5.
Yeah, but hold on. Has Jalen Ramsey ever covered anyone with the prowess of Demario Douglas? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Look at you. Boy, Demario Douglas and Mike Gesicki hide the women and children. All right, guys, it's time for Tommy's Getting Made. It's time for our rat lines of week number 8. And I'm going to start off the proceedings here because I'm basically going to suggest avoiding betting on, maybe the best team in football. This Kansas City-Denver line stinks to the high heavens. You have Kansas City and all their prowess and Mahomes and Kelsey and everything that comes with it, only laying a touchdown against the woeful Russell Wilson, the poorly coached Sean Payton Denver Broncos. Here's what you know about Denver and Kansas City, and we even saw this a couple of weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. These games are ugly. The Denver defense did a really good job of containing Patrick Mahomes, and you throw in the fact that the weather could be insane in the Mile High City. I think this game is tight. I think it's a 3 or a 4-point game. Now, do I think Denver's going to win outright? No, I don't. But I'm going to say buyer beware, boys, on Kansas City and Denver. And if you're going to play this one, the Denver Broncos, not the Kansas City Chiefs, are the right side of the game. All right, Raheem, I'm making sure I got my order correct. You're next. What do you got?
I'm going with the Chargers Bears. How can you trust this Chargers team laying 8.5 points? Are you serious? We've seen the Chargers every year since Phillip Rivers in 2006. They played the exact same game. What happens in these games? Either the Chargers are down or the other team is down, and once team needs to score to tie or take the lead. So laying 8.5 points is completely untenable. Let me remind you guys, since Mike Williams tore his ACL in week 3, this Chargers offense hasn't been rolling. 24 points, 17 points, and 31st in offensive success rate. So I feel like this Chargers offense with Justin Herbert, and I know he's been anointed the chosen one, is being overvalued here. He also has a fractured finger on his non-throwing hand, and it seems like that's impacted him a lot. I know they're playing against this Bears defense, but it seems to me that this Bears team has really improved the last couple of weeks with Tyson Bagent. So I have to stay away from this game. This is ugly.
Want to get on board that Badgett bandwagon, but the Bears stink. I mean, they stink. If the Chargers can't go and win this game, it's time to fold up the shop for Brandon Staley, Justin Herbert. I don't want to hear from them again. Fair enough.
It's Brandon Staley. Can't you see him losing this game?
Listen, and the fact that when we do our teaser, me and every Joe or Mo and Larry and Curly and then some is going to be teasing the Chargers every which way. So I get where you're coming from, Dream. All right, House, what do we got for our right line of the week?
Well, we woke up with that teaser already in disarray, JJ and Dream, because that line's up to 9.5 now. I mean, Dream was saying stay away at 8.5. Now it's 9.5, which completely ruins the teasers. This. We got to choose between the teabag or Dick or the kicker. We'll get to that soon enough. I don't know what to do about it. But here we have a situation here with this New Orleans Saints and Indianapolis Colts. Another line that moved this morning. The line was 1.5 all week. The Colts at home getting 1.5. Now it's up to 2.5, which means people are piling money into the New Orleans Saints. Choosing between Gardner Minshew and Derek Carr is like coming up to two massive security lines at the airport and trying to guess which one is going to move faster. Both options absolutely stink. If you choose poorly because you didn't see the elderly couple with 6 layers of clothing and 4 bags, you're stuck. You stand there, you curse yourself. Both of these teams come in on 2-game losing streaks, but at least the Colts are like kind of moving the ball. I can't come up with a scenario under which I would recommend anybody that I love, maybe my enemies, investing in Derek Carr or this Saints offense, that we're really in a race to the bottom. We just talked about Brandon Staley and his job security. This Dennis Allen situation with what's going on the offensive side of the ball with the Saints is absolutely abysmal. I'm recommending to everybody, do not have anything to do with this game if you care about your pocketbook or your loved ones.
Understandable, House. And anytime I have the opportunity to stay away from betting a Derek Carr game, it's usually the right course of action. Okay, Sal, right line of the week. Take it away, sir.
Well, you're not going to like this, JJ, because it doesn't mesh with your wising up. I mean, you're taking one of these teams in the Bengals 49ers game as your best bet, and I just don't like how much this line has moved. I understand part of it, but it opened at 5.5, which seemed very rich. This was after the Monday night loss for the 49ers to the Vikings. Like, well, all right, that seems high. Purdy's then in concussion protocol. It goes to 3.5 or 3, and then you're thinking, wow, is Sam Darnold that's only a 2-point difference? He miraculously comes out of protocol on a short rest and goes back up to, I don't even know what you got it at, 4.5, 5, and this is like a Bengals team that's rested. It's a 49ers team with injuries, but you would think one of the best teams in football isn't going to lose back-to-back. I think this is a rat that the line has jumped around so much. This is a promiscuous rat, JJ. You want to stay away from it. You're going to get an STD from this rat. Take away your wising up bet right now. I don't like this game at all.
So you think it's a promiscuous rat? I think it's a square dog with Cincinnati. So we'll see who's right at around 7:15 or 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. A promiscuous rat. I'll think of that the next time I'm in the subways of New York City. Promiscuous.
My favorite.
Promiscuous. Oh boy.
Yeah. Hairband cover is the best. Promiscuous rat, I think.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope Raheem's SGP is not a promiscuous rat. What do we got, buddy?
We're going to go with the Detroit Lions -7.5. I believe that's up to 8 right now. Over 46 and Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown that pays +311. It's a perfect bounce back spot for the Lions. They're going to Ravens defense. Raiders defense, which is 25th in defensive DVOA, 25th in defensive success rate. So this is a step down in class after getting dominated by the Ravens last week. When you look at Jahmyr Gibbs, he scored his first NFL touchdown last week. And now you look at him now, he's taking on a Raiders defense, which got torched by Deontay Foreman last week, 89 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 31 receiving yards. So he's going to have a big impact on this game. Since David Montgomery got injured, He's been handling 83% of the Lions running back touches. So I expect him to get another touchdown here. And then when you look at that over 46, I think both teams are going to be able to score some points. We know Jared Goff at home, he's a lot different than he is on the road. They struggled to score against the Ravens last week. They won't struggle to score here. I think the Raiders also do their part to make sure this game goes over.
Well, I know that's music to the ears of one cousin Sal, who is riding with the Lions, and it seems like there's a little synergy there with the Dream and
I like
cousin
it. I'm
Sal.
worried. I'm worried a little. If too many of us are on it, Dan Campbell's going to break our kneecaps after they put up like 6 points on Monday night.
Well, if he's breaking anybody's kneecaps, it's going to be mine first. Sorry, Sal. I got to take credit for that one. Now, apparently, you can ask a question to the wise guys, and we'll read it via email. We've done that the last couple of weeks. We're going to do it again right now. Hey, wise guys, Jaylen Warren is at plus 144 at over 3.5 receptions. The Jaguars have allowed 5 running backs to get at least 5 receptions in a game, including 12 to Alvin Kamara. Warren is Pittsburgh's best receiving back, and he's probably their best running back overall. I agree with that. I expect this to hit with ease. He's hit over this number 4 of the 6 games this year. What do you think, Brett? Let's start with you, Raheem. Are we in over 3.5 receptions for Jaylen Warren?
This is a tough one. I'm going to say I'm in. Just because I expect Kenny Pickett to dump it off a little bit. I would prefer to go over on one of the wide receivers, but this is not a bad play.
Well, I like the fact, Sal, that you're seeing Warren emerge over Najee Harris these last couple of weeks. I know everybody knows who Najee Harris is because of Bama, and he's a first-round pick. I agree with this email. Warren is the more dynamic running back for Pittsburgh. He just did.
Absolutely. I think Brett did a nice job. He came at us, guns a-blazing with 3 hot trends. And the only thing I say is analysis leads to paralysis, so it's probably going to lose.
Well, guys, you can send us your bets and questions at ringerwiseguys@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube, and we're going to get to a couple of those YouTube comments a little bit later on in the show. What do we got coming up here on Ringer Wise Guys? We got a lot more to do. Man's best bet is going to be a problem because Joe House and John Jastremski are going to be going mano-y-mano. It's like Creed. It's like Rocky. It's going to be a heavyweight showdown. We got man's best bet. We got teasers. We got props. We got you covered every which way, getting you ready for week 8. The boys are coming right back right here on FanDuel TV. Welcome back to Ringer Wise Guys right here on FanDuel TV. As you see, some outstanding programming coming your way later in the week. It'll be Raheem Palmer, Joe House, and this guy, John Jastremski on East Coast Bias. You can check that out Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Then we got Cousin Sal, all the cast of characters. Never know what's in store for Cousin Sal's winning weekend. Check that out Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern on FanDuel TV. All right, boys, let's get one more SGP involved in the proceedings. Joe House, it's time for you to get on board with a winner. I like the sound of a Joe House winner right here. What would that be?
That would be nice, except Cousin Sal sounded the cautionary note. We all absolutely love the Lions. So, of course, I'm in on this Lions action as well. It's going to be Detroit Rock City. I mean, this Monday night, what we're really doing is getting the kiddies ready. Make sure the costumes are lined up. Make sure the candy bowls are filled. Because this football game can be on in the background. You don't have to pay attention to anything but watching the Lions rack them up. So I have the Lions first half over 13.5. They come out with a vengeance after that performance against the Ravens, a game script that was so scary that they have no choice but to show up with points. I have the Lions to win the first half and the game. And then the third leg of this is Sun God, anytime touchdown. This thing's paying off plus 275. These are the three legs. We tried to keep it simple. Lions just coming out and taking off like it's a track meet, not looking back with the Raiders. Josh McDaniels also in the first coach to be fired sweepstakes if they show up as limp as they did against the Bears last week.
You know, I have to admit, I feel like I'm missing out on the fun because all of you found a way somehow, some way to tie in the Detroit Lions in this particular show. I did not. Now, I like your pick. I'm on board. I'm going to get involved in the game. But Raheem, I kind of feel dirty over the fact that all you guys are investing in this Detroit game. It seems like I feel like the odd man out here. I don't feel like I'm a part of the crew.
Then join the crew. Make it a family play. Come on, JJ.
I got to think of something. We will. I mean, I can't audible, but I am going to add the Lions every which way, and they're probably going to be teased and parlayed in every imaginable possible scenario in our little lab in the next hour. All right, guys, it's now time for Man's Best Bet. All sorts of pooches. Now, the rules with Man's Best Bet, if you're new to Ringer Wise Guys, it's not just an underdog to cover a spread. It's an underdog to win outright, and we try to match the size of the underdog with the pooch that we're bringing to the table. So, Sal, I know you like to dig deep, and I know you like to go big or go home with these underdogs. What's in store for Week 8?
Well, I have, what is this? What is this dog? This is Hercules from Sandlot, because I am digging way deep here. Look at that. That's a nice dog. JJ loves the dogs more. We could just show a picture of a dog for an hour and a half.
I'm a dog guy. What do you want from me? Hercules is the winner. He's a legend.
Well, I'm a dog guy today because I'm taking the Bears plus 390. This is a big one. You know, I got Tyson Badgett here. One Tyson let me down this weekend in Tyson Fury because he didn't win by knockout. He wasn't even close. What are the odds his namesake, the great Tyson Badgett, does the same? Probably pretty good. But listen, this isn't a Bears endorsement. This is their opponent, the dealer, showing a 6 here. That's basically what I said. And House set it up with the Chargers. They're not to be trusted in any situation, and this proves it, right? If they can't beat the Bears at home or cover the spread at home, then why would you ever take them? And I don't buy that, they got to do it for Staley thing. Staley stinks. He could easily be gone. He should have been gone 2 months ago, maybe 2 years ago. Again, 31st in pass defense, a coach who can't get out of his own way, and I'm getting a hearty plus 390. Take us to the promised land, Hercules.
And you just have a feeling with the Chargers and the Bears and the Lions and the Raiders, these two primetime games, these two teams that everybody is going to tease, parlay, you name it, one of them will probably go down. That's just
not
the way
our Lions.
Goes.
How dare you put that in the zeitgeist?
Hopefully the other team doesn't go down too, because I have something coming up on that a little bit later on in the show. House, we know this. I don't like your dog. We've talked about it all week, but now it's time. Make the case. What's your man's best bet for this particular quarter NFL football?
Well, let me see this beautiful dog. I love this. The brindle. Look at this. That's a dog with swag. That's a dog with some Joe Burrow swag. And I'm here to tell you, JJ, Joe Burrow's got that swag. The season starts today for the Cincinnati Bengals. They survived the first 6 weeks with the injury to Joe Burrow's calf. We've seen on both sides of the ball the Bengals not really finding their identity. I think it starts right here, right now. I don't like at all the fact that San Francisco, with Trent Williams, officially ruled out the best pass protector for a quarterback that's coming in on the shortest concussion protocol in the history of this new concussion protocol. Brock Purdy, apparently a miracle concussion recovery. I don't like that aspect either. But really, this is me investing in the Bengals. This number has been moving between 5.5, 4.5, 3.5, because everybody's trying to guess what's going to happen with the Niners. The look ahead for this was the Niners -1. That's the real number that makes sense for two teams with genuine Super Bowl ambitions. The price is crazy because of how good the Niners look through the first handful of games this season. Then the injury bug hit them, as it always seems to do. But I'm investing in this Cincinnati team. Right spot, plenty of rest. San Francisco coming off of a short work week, Monday Night Football, with the injury duress. And I think all the skill guys are going to touch the ball. T. Higgins is back. Chase is going to catch the ball. The Niners secondary, very gettable. Most importantly, Lou Anarumo has this defense cooking. He finally has the Cincinnati defense looking like the way it looks in the second half of the previous 2 seasons and the playoffs. Top 3 EPA defensively over the last couple of games. I'm on the Bengals, JJ.
I know you are, and I hate going against Staten Island Lou, who is one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. Love me some Staten Island Lou. He loves some Joe and Pats. That Joe and Pats ain't going to be tasting too good after playing the San Francisco 49ers. So that's your man's best bet. I do appreciate the fact, though, Hasta, you took it outright, because to me, if Cincinnati wins the game, if they cover the game, they're winning the game. That's the way I look at it. I think San Francisco, though, is going to win by 10-plus points. That's my take. All right, Raheem, you're up.
Okay, so I have the smallest dog on the board, but this dog has a lot of bite.
Oh, what a great
it's
dog.
Cuddly.
Amazing.
But it's going to bite this week. This is the perfect sell high spot on a Vikings team which beat the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football. We all saw it. And now they have to travel on the road to take on my beloved Green Bay Packers, who are +105 on the money line. Vikings are way overvalued in this spot. They really only won because San Francisco had 3 turnovers, 2 in the red zone, and we actually found out that Brock Purdy was actually concussed at the end of the game. So that was a game in which the Vikings probably should have lost. They got some turnover luck their way. They got the big play at the end of the half, and now they're favorites on the road. And I'm always wary of these teams who go from being big underdogs at home, and in the following week, they're favorites on the road. You look at 2 weeks ago, they produced just 12 offensive points against the Bears. The Bears can't stop anybody. So I look at this Packers team as a great buy low spot. Brian Flores, he loves the blitz. Well, Jordan Love is one of the best in the league against the blitz. He has 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions versus the blitz. In normal situations, he has 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, and he's 32nd out of 34 out of all quarterbacks against regular situations. So he's 12th best QB against the blitz. I think it's a great spot for the Packers.
I have to jump in here. I wouldn't be able to live with myself and let Raheem take a dog at +105, and the graphic actually says +100. This is not yet a dog. I don't want to get political here, but this dog hasn't even been born yet at +100. This dog is in the second trimester, or however you figure out dog life. This is not a dog, Raheem. Please change it up.
It is a dog. I mean, what would you call it? It's not a cat. It's not a fox. I mean, it's a dog.
Hey, bottom line, I'm siding with the dream on this one. It is a dog. It fits the description. Sorry, Sal. Overruled as far as I'm concerned. It fits the dog.
You're a
love.
lunatic.
Well, that's because you were getting on the dog love. Now I'm going to give you some dog love, and I'm going near and dear to my heart. Mr. New York, New York. I mean, it's my podcast, for goodness sakes. I wasn't going to let it slide not picking the Giants outright against the Jets. Where do I sign? The Jets have lost like 8 or 9 straight games when they had been coming off their bye week. Now you're telling me the Jets in the classic overreaction spot from beating the Philadelphia Eagles, everyone talking them up around town. They're laying points with Robert Saleh coming off a bye. They're laying points with Zach Wilson. Remind you, it's Zach Wilson at quarterback. And the Giants, for what it's worth, have looked far better and far more functional and far more competent with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback over the last 2 weeks. I think that Giant defense that played well in Buffalo, that played very well against House's Commanders just a week ago, I think they forced a couple of Zach Wilson turnovers. I like the fact that it's a good overreaction spot in fading the New York Jets. It's the Jets. It's never easy, and it won't be easy in this particular game, guys. Give me the Giants outright in a New York City. That's a New York City pooch house. We like that New York City pooch. He knows a thing or two about the rugged streets of town.
Well, I like two pieces to this one. First of all, for sure the Giants offense has looked better with Tyrod. It also looks better when Saquon Barkley is healthy. And that combination, Tyrod Taylor is the OG Geno Smith. He was Geno Smith before Geno Smith figured out who he was going to be this past season and a half. A guy who takes care of the football, isn't going to, go out there and beat himself. But I also have been impressed with that Giants defense. And I do think that Wink Martindale has something up his sleeve for Mr. Zach Wilson this coming week.
Yeah, I like that one, JJ. My only question to you is if a tree falls at MetLife Stadium and no one's there to see it, however that goes, I don't know. There are 9 1 p.m. kickoffs. Does this make a big screen in your house?
It has to. Listen, I have podcast content that I got to worry about later on tonight. I know it's the 4th team on CBS. I know it's not nearly as sexy a game as everyone thought it was going to be at the start of the year. But come on, man. We got the Texans and the Panthers playing today. I think New York, is finding its way onto a screen. Now, we got to get to some guest picks because the Podfather is kind of in a category by himself, but a lot of other folks want to chime in and get on board with the Ringer Wise guys. Apparently, Nephew Kyle wants to join the show. That's right, Nephew Kyle. Let's hear it, buddy.
What's up, gang? It's Nephew Kyle, or Producer Kyle, if you respect me. This week, I wanted to talk about hope. Last week was a new hope, wasn't it? It felt so great to beat the Bills. I'm not expecting that same level of hope this week. This is more of the Empire Strikes Back. We're looking for small wins. But the Patriots are going into the Dolphins this week in Miami, and I don't think that they're going to win this game. I do not. But it's the largest spread. The Patriots are plus 9.5. I do see some junky touchdowns. I do see maybe a little bit of Pop Douglas escaping on some routes, and maybe we'll actually throw the ball to him again. That worked out well. I think the Patriots defense responded really well to injuries, and I think there's a couple things up in the air with Miami, and they didn't really destroy them when they first played them. So it's going to be Patriots plus 9.5 at Miami, but also we're going to make this into a plus money for you guys. And I think if you believe what I believe, then you also believe that the Patriots are not going to score a bunch of points. And if we can hold Tyreek and Waddle and whoever of them are actually going to be playing, then I think we'll be under 46.5 points. So that's going to get you plus 219. That's going to be Patriots plus 9.5, under 46.5 points. Lock it down. Tell me what you think.
Wow. I mean, these Patriot guys, Sal, they win one game, and now I get nothing but Patriot SGPs from that crew? Come on, man.
Nephew Kyle is famous for 2 things. First of all, his Homer Patriot picks, and secondly, giving out life lessons. And I learned a life lesson from him yesterday as he was at my Halloween party. If you feed someone enough Jell-O shots, they will end up slumped over in your pantry when you're trying to kick everyone out at midnight. So thank you for that life lesson, Kyle.
Jell-O shots. Dangerous, cousin Sal. Dangerous. How does that work its way onto the menu?
College themed.
I understand.
Condoms, crock pot, Jell-O shots. That was it.
Hide the women and children. All right, guys. It's now time for the Week 8 injury update. Who's in, who's out on this particular Sunday? David Montgomery going to be out. Trent Williams, that's a big one. He's out for San Francisco. Brock Purdy in for the Niners. We knew that yesterday, but now it's official. Tyler Lockett is in. Raheem Mostert is in. How about Patrick Mahomes working his way onto the injury report, fellas, because he's a little under the weather That makes me feel that much better. How's about that Denver +7 pick in the rat lines? That is a rat if I've ever seen one.
I couldn't agree more. That game felt like a Broncos or stay away under all circumstances. I'm just going to confess, when we get off here on Wise Guys, there might be a little play for house on the Broncos money line.
I like
think that, Sean Payton has something to prove here, and that defense has been impressive the past couple of weeks after being historically awful. Last couple of weeks, it's been kind of a competent defense. So I don't know. It feels like maybe a little soft spot for the Chiefs. They're about to get on an airplane and have to fly to Germany to play the Dolphins. So maybe a little bit of a look ahead, opportunity here on the Broncos.
House, you want to switch your man's best bet to the Broncos? I'll give you the opportunity.
Absolutely not. Under no circumstances. No, I love the Bengals this week.
I thought maybe I'd get you on board. The answer is no. All right. Since I'm so sick and tired of these Patriot folks coming on the show and giving us Patriot SGPs, to hell with that. We're going for the third straight week. My SGP. Let's try to make it 3 straight. I'm going with the Miami Dolphins to win the game outright. Mike Gesicki, the former Dolphin, scored the game-winning touchdown last week against the Patriots. I like him to go over 17.5 receiving yards. And then Tyreek Hill, a little beat up. Jalen Waddle knows a thing or two about scoring against the New England Patriots. I think he's doing a little Waddle in the end zone. Anytime touchdown. That parlay, that 3-legger, guys, at plus 424. Sal, the odds of Simmons, nephew Kyle, and yours truly all hitting our SGPs. What are we putting at it? 50-1?
Yeah, it's got to be 50, 60-1. Yeah, frankly, I'm sick of all of you guys. The Dolphins and the Patriots fans. Gesicki, I couldn't even tell you if he was on the Patriots or the Dolphins at this point. Let that game go away already. Come on, JJ.
See,
50-1. Y'all are crazy. That's like 500 or 1,000-1. It's not happening.
FanDuel should give us an opportunity to tie all of them together and see what kind of magic we can make. In fact, when the show ends, I might even get nuts and tell you what it pays and tweet it out. All right, it's now time for the Ringer Wise Guys grab bag. But before we do that, House, you're going to start us up. You're actually going to give us a tease right out of the gate. What would it be?
Well, I was prepared to try and size up this teabag teaser versus Dicker the Kicker. I have the Chargers as a potential teaser leg, but the line this morning went from 8.5, where I was going to tease it down to a nice, convenient 2.5. It's up to 9.5. I don't love the leg as much. I'm not going to pivot. I'm going to hang in there, but I'll just caution everybody. If you're looking for a different way to play, if you don't want to have to lay 3.5 with the Chargers, look at what Dream just offered up in terms of the Green Bay Packers. Get plus points on the Packers and push that up to at least +7, maybe +7.5 as a potential teaser leg. But I mean, the Chargers thesis, the reason that's part of a teaser leg is because they have to win this football game. It's Brandon Staley's job otherwise. And then the other leg of it, of course, is the Detroit Lions, who we are teasing from 8.5 down to 2.5. I don't think that we really have to go too in depth as to why we like that leg. We've talked about the Lions kind of ad nauseum. Perfect spot for them against this limping Las Vegas Raiders situation.
Primetime tease special for Houseman. What can go wrong? Well, guess what, Houseman? I'm riding one of the legs as well. Sal's not going to like it. If the Chargers can't cover 3.5, 2.5, I don't care what it is, then it's time to fold up shop. Again, I don't want to hear from Justin Herbert, Brandon Staley, any of those goons ever again. So give me the Chargers laying at 3.5 tonight against the Woeful Bears. And I'm with Raheem on this one. I like the Packers teasing them up. The Minnesota Vikings always play weird and wacky and bizarre and all sorts of screwed up games. Now you're giving me Minnesota on a short week after their biggest win of the year on the road at Lambeau against a desperate Packer team. Give me the Packers. This is going to be at minimum a field goal game, and I'm with you, Dream. I like the Packers to win this game outright. Sal, what do we got for a tease?
All right, this flies in the face of Dream's pick earlier. I know he had the Jags first half and the Jags to win, which is probably right. That's probably smart, but also smart. This is a policy pick. Steelers opponent first half, Steelers to win the game. I gave this out last week on the digital portion of this program, which still counts, by the way. I got plus 850 on that. I had the Rams to win the first half, Steelers to win the game. That hit plus 850. It also hit at 10-1 when the Ravens won the first half and the Steelers won the game. So already you're up about 12.5 units on this pick. I think it's going to win at least 2 more times the rest of the year. You go Jags first half, Steelers to win the game. Now they're on to us. They're hip to us. Usually if it's a 3-point spread, you can get about 10-1. It's down to plus 655, and we're doing it because we know the Steelers are full of crap. We know they lay an egg for 3.5 quarters or even more. And then there's a near pick six that gets Kenny Pickett to the goal line and they score. George Pickens separates and that's it. That's what I'm doing. This is a full of crap offense for most of the game. And then the Steelers will pick up and win. Might not happen today, but I'm saying bet it for the rest of the year because you're already up 12 units.
Like the logic, Sal, I'm just sick of those Steeler cockroaches. They have been a pain in the neck every which way. So good luck. I get the logic. I'm hoping Jacksonville wins this game and they win it going away. All right, Dream, what do we got, bud?
So I'm not going with a teaser here. I'm going with a total. We're going to do a split bet just like we did for my Wising Up wager. We're going to go Texans, Panthers, first half over 21. Only take 21 as 21 is a key number. And we're also going to go with Texans, Panthers over 43.5. House already hit on this early. Frank Wright, he's going to hand down play calling duties to Thomas Brown. We all know Thomas Brown is a Sean McVay disciple. So you're going to see all that enhanced play action, pre-snap motion, which should get this Panthers offense going. Texans are just 21st in defensive DVOA, 22nd against the pass and the run. So this is not a dominant defense. So I expect the Panthers to be able to get some points in this game. You got both of these teams coming off the bye with rookie quarterbacks. And we all know these rookie quarterbacks, they struggle at first, but they get the chance to, play a couple games, have that bye and reset. And this is a good spot to see some points. I think this is a sneaky shootout between two rookie quarterbacks who should be able to go back and forth and get it up down the field, put some touchdowns there.
A lot of funk and a lot of flair from Dream today, as far as all sorts of creativity with wisest wagers and some parlays. So we'll see if that creativity leads to great success. Now, as you guys can tell, with all of this Met stuff and Bartolo Colon and the Atlanta Falcons, I'm clearly not in my home compound. My buddy, Salicata, nice enough to have me in his home to watch football today. He allowed me to, take over the man cave. He allowed me to take over the studio to do Ringer Wise Guys. It's only right we allow Sal of SNY and WFAN fame to join us here on the show. What do you got, Licata?
What's up, wise guys? Sal Licata here. I figured JJ's crashing my house on Sunday. I'm going to crash yours. My best bet for week 8, I love the Packers. So much overreaction to what the Vikings did on Monday night. Yeah, they beat the Niners. Shocking, great win, understood. Prior to that, everybody thought that they stunk. Now, all of a sudden, we think the Vikings are going to go into Green Bay and beat the Packers? I don't think so. Give me Jordan Love, big bounce back game. Packers at home over the Vikings. What do you guys think?
I know you like that, Raheem. Licata riding with the Packers. That's starting to have a little bit of a family feel to it today.
Yeah, I think the family is riding together and we're dying together. I mean, hopefully we aren't dying, but I just think we're in a good spot. I think, this is a really sharp wager. So I think we get it done today.
Sal, I know you've liked the Vikings, and I know you were on board with them in the preseason. They have that win on Monday night. Do you look at it and you say springboard for the rest of the year, or are you very skeptical of Minnesota, not only today, but what we're going to see moving forward?
Well, our boss, Glasses Bill, he coined the phrase Ewing theory, and I feel like that's happening with the Vikings right now, with Justin Jefferson being out and the emergence of Addison, and this offense is already clicking. Addison, Madison, everything that rhymes with that, and Kirk Cousins coming to life. That said, I would actually put this maybe as a stay away with this Vikings, who are like a 1.5 point favorite. After getting a 1.5, everybody's on them. We know we've seen this happen a million times. Team does great the week before, and they crap the bed the next week. Sorry to say. But why does every idiot Sal like the Mets is the big question.
It's a poor life choice. What can I say?
How do we have all these Sals from New York? I mean, this is just what with the Mets.
It's the wise guys.
I do want to say, it really is. I do want to say this is a really interesting spot for the Vikings. If they pull this out, they're in the playoffs right now. I mean, it's a pretty I hate the situation for them. Short work week. They're outdoors at Lambeau. The weather's supposed to be crappy. Kirk Cousins doesn't like it. He does not like that. But I don't know, man. The Vikings, if they have been very sneaky, super efficient offensively. They're top 10 on all these offensive efficiency metrics. If they handle their business today against this garbage Packers team, like they're back in the playoff picture, Sal.
They're a half game behind Tampa, who they lost to week 1. But I think if you asked all of us, we would, if we had to put money on either team in a neutral setting at this point, we'd probably take the Vikings, right?
We would. But at the same time, here's what it boils down to. The Vikings are still a team on the road I don't trust. And I think we're going to be looking at that 7th seed in the NFC in December or January saying this team stinks and this team might be laying 9.5 or might be a 9.5 for a double-digit underdog against Philly or San Francisco or whatever the case may be. All right, guys, It's time to advise the wise guys. Let's get a viewer email. See, I got it right today, guys. Wise guys, please advise. Hey, wise guys, can you give me your best player prop for Monday night's game? I like a Devontae Adams anytime touchdown. That's from Coral in New Jersey. House, I'm out on the Devontae Adams train. I'd get on board with Ahmad St. Brown. That guy feasts. The Lions are a monster at home. You want an anytime touchdown. Give me Ahmad St. Brown to get some pay dirt, baby.
I know you went to me with this because it's already in my same game parlay, and you beat me to the punch on the analysis. Why do I want to mess with the Raiders with Devontae Adams and whoever is playing quarterback for that team? Let me have the sun god at home. I know how he cooks there with Jared Goff.
I like it. We got some YouTube comments, too. It's amazing how people get involved with the proceedings. What do we got here? Who are we going to first? Let's go to Daniel. I'm eyeing the Titans as a home dog. Their run defense is solid, and I think their 2-quarterback setup could cause confusion to Atlanta. Plus, Vrabel's a money home dog. Sal, I don't like it. I think they're begging you to take Tennessee. I think that team stinks. They're retooling. I like Atlanta today. I'm out on the Titans.
Yeah, their 2-quarterback system might create confusion for the bettors more than anything. But, yeah, I don't like this South matchup. I am just going to be loyal to my preseason pick of Tennessee to win that division, even though I don't love it. And I don't love Desmond Ridder. He gave poor Raheem a heart attack last week, fumbling 3 times, twice at the one. I'm going to take the points, actually, in Tennessee.
Yeah, you can't back Tennessee here. First things first. Will Levis stinks. And then they traded their all-pro safety, Kevin Byard, this week. So that's going to be huge. And then more importantly, the Titans are not going to be able to rely on their run game.
Raheem, you're out. We got to get out of here. Let's go. For Raheem, for House, for Sal, JJ signing off. We're out on the Tennessee Titans. The Falcons doing in the division. We're on digital time. That's coming your way right after this. Welcome back to the digital time edition of Ringer Wise Guys. Raheem, I hate being rude. I know I'm a New Yorker. I know I'm used to cutting people off in conversation. I don't like doing that on Ringer Wise Guys, but we had to hit the end of the show. I'm just proud.
Speaking of getting cut off, you got cut off. So it's just some karma in the universe right now. But I'm going to finish my point. I had the producer in my ear yelling 15 seconds. I thought I had 15 more seconds to talk. I didn't know we had 15 more seconds for the show. But what I'm going to say is that offensively, the Titans are not going to be able to rely on the run game against a Falcons team, which is 1st in rushing EPA per play and 6th in rushing success rate. They can slow down the run, and we saw that last week against a Buccaneers team, which runs on early downs all the time. So this Titans offense is really going to struggle this week. And then when you look at the other side of the ball, Titans defense is really on struggle mode. 25th in EPA per play, 22nd in success rate, 28th in dropback success rate. I expect Desmond Ridder to be able to go out there and carve this defense up, especially since they traded their all-pro safety, Kevin Byard.
It's only fair that I would get cut off after Raheem got cut off. That, Sal? Right. I guess that's what happens when you're in you're in the road studio. You're not in the home studio.
You're lucky you didn't get whacked and you only got cut off. Yeah.
Well,
that's a bonus.
We got a couple of honorable mentions we got to get to before we hit Tate Frasier, before we hear from Sheil and Solak, and we do a lot of stuff here on the digital. Let's get to Eagles Commanders. House, I'm going to you on this one first because we know what the history is with the Commanders and the Eagles. Washington plays them close. They should have beaten them earlier in the year if they would have went for 2, if your coach didn't end up coaching like a coward. They beat them last year on Monday Night Football when they were a monster underdog. They are a 7-point dog in this spot. I think you're live in the game. I know Philly's much better. I know Washington can't block me, you, and Sal and Raheem.
Did he go away?
He's talking, but here's my observation.
That's why you can't shoot from an aquarium. We've said it a million times. Yeah.
Yeah. We're literally wise guys, not TV guys, apparently, at least JJ. I would only play this Washington Philly game on the total. The total's 43.5. They had a high total in the first game. This is an underplay if you play it at all. I don't like the side. I think the number is right on the money in terms of the 7 that it's sitting at right now. And I think the Eagles, both sides of the ball are going to be in the trenches controlling things. But I also think that they are going to just play enough to like just grab the win and get out of there. There's no reason for them to come out and crush. And Washington, they can't move the ball, so the under is the play for me on the second of a divisional matchup like this.
I'm with you. I wonder, Dream, is if the data supports this, but it seems like House is right. I think there was 65 points in the first matchup between these two, and now it's a little colder. And now I feel like the defenses adjust better to the first game, and it could be in the high 20s, mid 30s for this.
Yeah, I have noticed that, the second game tends to go under when it's 2 divisional teams. So I do think the data supports that. I don't have the data offhand right now, but I would love to pull those numbers.
Okay. Washington, a play for me. Ravens, Cardinals. Ravens laying big lumber. Ravens smoked the Detroit Lions a week ago. Arizona trending in the wrong direction. Sal, I know you saw that last week. I can't make a case for the Cardinals here in this game. I just can't. I think Baltimore's got too much firepower.
Yeah. I feel like, Simmons laid this out on Guess the Lines, and everybody who had their best game the week before seems to not show up the week after. And the Ravens had probably the most thorough victory over a good team last week against the Lions. And now they have to travel to Phoenix and play. How are they going to get up for that game? That went from 8.5 to 9.5. The only reason I don't like it is Arizona is one of 2 teams, the Steelers are the other one, who have been outgained yardage-wise every single game of the year. That's tough. I don't know how they eventually contain Lamar, but I would take the 9.5 if I had to.
So
go ahead, Dream.
It's so funny because every single team from Arizona won last night. The Suns, the Diamondbacks, right. Arizona State, Arizona, they will not win or cover this game today. I mean, the Ravens, what they always do. When they play these inferior teams, they tend to step on them. And this Cardinals defense, by all the metrics, they're one of the worst defenses in the league. And they've allowed a league high 33 red zone trips. We know the Ravens will have their opportunities to score, and I think they take advantage of
it. All right, listen, this is our favorite segment of the show when we can't hear JJ, so let's just enjoy it. No, I'm kidding. Extra points taken. Sheil and Solak, take it away, guys.
We are back on Extra Point Taken, the moment of truth. Now I've got 2 here that I like quite a bit, and then I've got a third in bold. But if I'm feeling some type of way when I get to that third one, I'm switching off of it and calling an audible. So that's where I am with mine. Do you I feel like you have put in the work this week where you're taking it personally. You're like, here are my 3. Sheil's not talking me in them, out of. I'm making my own picks this week. Do I have that correct?
I have my 3 locked in. Texans minus 3.5 at the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, baby.
Are you opposite this for me or no?
I picked the Panthers in my column, but I'm not touching this game here.
Traveling to Carolina, rookie quarterback on the road. Like, there's absolutely some challenge there. I do think, though, that this Texans team is better just on both sides of the ball, very simply. And their ability to generate pressure against an offensive line that struggled to protect Bryce Young. I think the designed looks also, DeMeco Ryans is a terror on third down in terms of who he sends and when he sends. That's going to really make Bryce Young struggle.
All right, there you go. You've got the Texans. Listen, I'm just going to play the type and ride with my people. Joey Burrow, come on, baby. Let's go to San Francisco. We're taking the Bengals plus 4.5 at the San Francisco 49ers. I really like Burrow when he's an underdog. I saw this nugget on Action Network. Joe Burrow as an underdog of 3 points or more, 14-2 against the spread in his career.
You know what the Bengals are not doing this year? Leaving Burrow back there for more than 2 seconds, right? Burrow's getting rid of the ball so fast. And that might neutralize this pass rush a little bit, but I would worry about how much like those receivers are going to get lit up. My main worry about this Bengals offense, with how it's currently constructed, has been the health of the receivers, the amount of body blows they're going to take. And against a secondary that hits like the Niners defense, I wouldn't want to be playing this game in a Bengals uniform. I wouldn't want to be Jamar Chase or a Tyler Boyd. I'm going to take shots to the ribs for 4 quarters. Oh, got to earn a paycheck tonight. It's going to be tough.
All right. There you go. Bengals. All right. Give me your second lock of the week. What do you got?
Falcons minus 2.5 against the Titans.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. Now, I like what I've seen from Ritter in recent weeks. I like the way the Falcons offense has worked in recent weeks. Obviously, there's been a ton of opinions about that. I am right. Everybody else is wrong. Listen to the Tuesday pod if you don't think so. And then this defense, I like this defense a lot. I trust this defense, and I don't think Will Levis or Malik Willis is going to be able to do anything in either their first start or in Malik Willis rotating in as an option quarterback. I think that's going to be a mess.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not a great case on paper to take the Titans here. All right, I don't think you're going to like my next one based on what you said earlier. I don't think I've taken the Chiefs at all this year. I'm taking the Chiefs 7.5 at Denver. I think this Chiefs defense is pretty good. I like how they match up against this Broncos offense.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of points in this one.
All right, there you go. What do you have for your last one?
Dolphins minus 9.5 at home against the Patriots. Dolphins and the Patriots did play earlier this season. Dolphins were in control of that game, multiple scores pretty much the whole way before losing the game 24-17 late. And so they didn't cover this line at the time when they played them. I think that they're going to be in a position where they're going to be controlling by multiple scores again, and they're just hoping not to lose to the back door.
But I absolutely agree with the overall take here that you're probably getting some value because people are like, hey, maybe the Patriots aren't that bad. They got that big win last week. And the Dolphins, maybe they're not that good. They lost to the Eagles. I still think there's a huge gap between these two teams. My last one, Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin, can you forgive me? Will you take me back? I'm sorry I betrayed you. Please, Steelers plus 2.5. I know Pittsburgh is a little fraudulent is not the right word, but they're probably not playing as well as a 4-2 team. There's no doubt about it. But I feel like this is the exact type of spot where they show up, where their defense shows up, where they make a play on special teams, where they create a turnover, where they make some plays downfield to George Pickens, and they come out and they win this game. I'm going Steelers plus 2.5 at home against Jacksonville.
This is, I'm so confident we're going to get back on track this week because we're back to Shield, just taking Tomlin as an underdog. Don't worry about the opponent. Don't worry about the context. Don't worry about this, everything. Mike Tomlin as an underdog. We are back to basics. We're back to fundamentals.
All right, welcome back. I think my mic is fixed. I mean, what a disaster that was. I'm glad it happened. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But we do have someone who wants to join us that's going to put me in good spirits, Sal. Who would that be?
I can't hear you, JJ. Did you say anything just now? I don't.
No,
okay. No. We love him. We know where he's from. He's from Through the Ringer. He's been in our lives for a long, long time and made them all better. Tate Frasier, where is he? Let's bring him in. And he was at my Halloween party last night. I believe we took a picture together, Tate, right?
Yeah, it was great to be there.
Yes.
Look at us.
Okay.
The Pack 2.
Look at that. Pack 2, honorable mention there. Then Sal's got the Rodney Dangerfield eyes in. What a
Tate and his girlfriend went as the Pack 2, and then they were never together the whole night. So it just appeared as if he was an Oregon State fan walking around. So.
A lot of people disgusted. They were just like, you just put a T-shirt on. This is nothing. You know what I mean? Whole lot of Bobby Boucher's at the party as well. Our good Harry was Bobby Boucher. Producer Kyle was Bobby Boucher. So a lot of Waterboy representation at the party, Sal.
Yeah, Harry had a mustache on as Bobby Boucher. I don't think he's actually seen the
Never
movie.
had a
so,
mustache.
yeah,
He
right.
got like
I
a
don't know
2
what that
Hold
was.
on, hold on a second. Harry made his way to this Halloween party and was not kind enough to join us at some point on Ringer Wise Guys. Sal, that's unacceptable.
I think Harry's blood alcohol content is over 0.17 right now, so it's for the best that he didn't join us.
I don't know. I would disagree. I'd say all the more reason then that Harry should be a part of the show.
Okay.
I mean, just
I'll wake
saying,
him
if his BAC is going to be that high at this time at what 9 o'clock Pacific,
That's true. We're in digital.
He's asleep, JJ. Don't worry. He won't be up for hours.
Well, that's disappointing. Anyway, Tate, nice of you to join us through the Ringer. I'm never going to screw up your name again with the show. Maybe I will. I'm just kidding. I don't know. We never know with me. You do have picks for us. So let's get in the lab here. It's time for you to throw a couple at the Wise Guys. What's pick number 1, my dude?
Yeah, my first, this is the biggest bet of the week. This is, I'm putting it all on the table. I'm all in. Chips are all in. And I'm looking at my Carolina Panthers. 0-6, the only team that has not won a game this season in the NFL. It is time to answer the bell. All the pressure is on. We got Julius Peppers. We got Musa Muhammad. They're on campus. They're getting their jackets. They're in the Hall of Honor. Bryce Young is, talking to Musa Muhammad. Musa Muhammad's like, I remember watching you in high school. I knew you were going to be a star. Well, Bryce Young, number 1 pick. Let's be a star today. A lot of people in that building, they're leaking things out. They're saying we should have taken CJ Stroud. He looks better. He looks like the rookie of the year. These guys grew up next to each other. Very like Southern California kids, right? They competed in basketball, football, a lot of competition between the number 1 pick and number 2 pick. Today, we have to believe in the home team. We have to believe in the Panthers, and we have to believe in good. And I think today is the day to take the Panthers money line. Plus 142. It was at plus 150 last night if you took it, but now it's at plus 142. That means that Vegas is seeing what I'm seeing. They see the writing on the wall. The Carolina Panthers are going to win this game, JJ.
I like it. Listen, I think Carolina is the sharp side. I know it was a part of our conversation earlier today on Ringer Wise Guys. Raheem, do you see this game in the category of if Carolina keeps it close, they win it outright? Or do you think there's a very plausible scenario this game ends up being dicey for Tate where they cover the number, but Texans find a way to win it by 2 or 3? Where do you stand?
Covering doesn't count today, JJ. It doesn't
count.
count.
That's it. It's win or lose. Okay, I like it. I like that you're putting your stones on the table. We appreciate that.
I'm riding with Tate on this. And a big reason why is if you look at the preseason look-ahead line for this game, Carolina was a 3-point favorite. So this is a huge adjustment based on just 5-6 weeks of action. And when you bring in Thomas Brown to call plays, I just think they have some wrinkles up their sleeve that the Houston Texans aren't ready for. So I agree with Tate. I agree with House. They're going to win this game outright.
JJ, I know you have a podcast to do, but this is a better game than Jets Giants. This is Stroud versus Young is very it's noteworthy. It should make a screen. It is better. It's better.
Absolutely not. I get a Monsoon. I get Zach Wilson and Tyrod Taylor. Come on, baby. How good is that? Come on.
It is the first time in the modern era that the top 3 picks in the draft are all in the same football game. I mean, there is a lot of intrigue here. The thing that I like, especially about the Carolina side, is with rookie quarterbacks like Shocker, they're much better at home. The Panthers have been, decent at the home. The Panthers also had, I don't know what they did to the NFL schedule makers, but they had a really rough, first 6 games, 4 games on the road and playing all these very impressive offenses. Your Seattles, your Detroits. I mean, it's not really Miami. It's not embarrassing that that defense wasn't up to the task against those offenses. But let's get some Carolina cooking today, Tate Frasier.
I'm locked in.
The Tar Heel going with his hometown state, going with the Carolina Panthers outright. Now, Tate, you're a basketball guy through and through, and you cannot give me a college basketball future yet. We'll have to do that at some point because I'm going to be in the lab over the next week, and I need to find myself a winner. But what you are going to do, apparently, is you're going to get us involved with a little cross-sport action where we can kind of get the NFL and the NBA combined into one like I do Super Bowl week. So what do we got in store, buddy?
Yeah, we are. This is bet number 2 for you. We got the Clippers points. They're going to play Victor Wembanyama tonight. I'm going to be in the building. I saw the Clippers play the Trailblazers. They played the number 3 pick, Scoot Henderson, they made him look not so good. He was shell-shocked. Russell Westbrook picked him up second play of the game, and he was never the same. We'll see if Scoot can bounce back, but I think Victor Wembanyama is going to come in this building. Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, they're going to say, welcome to the NBA, and you're going to see something in this game, and they're going to cover in this game as well. So I think it's plus 9.5. Also, you guys talked about the Cardinals. You talked about why the Ravens should win. I 100% agree. I think on paper, it all makes sense for Baltimore to win this game. But every single time I buy into the Baltimore Ravens, it's a little too good to be true. And last week, they handled business. They dominate the Lions. They're the best first quarter team I've ever seen in my entire life. If it was just the first quarter, the Ravens would be guaranteed to win the Super Bowl. I worry about a full game. I think the Cardinals surprise people in this game. Maybe Kyler Murray comes out and plays. Who knows? Maybe he tries to put his name out there before the trade deadline. But regardless, I think the points for the Cardinals, points for the Clippers, you get it plus 500. You put those two together, you get a little fun parlay, and the rest is history, and hopefully they can handle business tonight.
You know, Tate, I want to give you a lot of credit for something. You're putting your cojones on the table coming on Ringer Wise Guys. You know, we get a lot of these guests who come and give us the square, boring, give me the Chiefs, give me the Eagles, give me the top teams. Raheem, don't you appreciate a guy who's digging deep and is giving us plus 500 and is giving us crazy underdogs? I respect it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tate might be a honorary wise guy, like a real one. So salute to him. The one concern I have about this Clippers game is the Clippers are dead last in defensive rebound rate. And we all know Wemba is a big guy. And, you know, Tyronn Lue, he likes to play small a lot. And they tend to get, beat up on the boards. We saw that on Friday against the Jazz. How concerned are you about that?
I'm a little concerned about it, Raheem, but I do think that at home they're a different team. And in Utah, it was a furious comeback. There were some late whistles that, there were 2 3-second calls that they should have gotten. They should have gotten free throws there. And I think a lot of people have made a big deal about Kawhi's reaction to Russell Westbrook's shot. I think he was just falling over because he was so tired from the comeback. And he was like, I can't believe I wasted so much energy on the road in Utah and we didn't actually win the game. So I think this is a Clippers statement game. They're going to let the league know that they're here, they're ready. And Wembanyama, I think he has 8 rebounds. I don't even think he gets a double-double in this game.
I'm not mad at that. And one thing I'll add, there is some sharp money on the under 228. So if you want to grab that, a lot of professionals on that.
I like that.
Raheem has the NBA card down to a science here, even on a football Sunday. It just goes to show you, Raheem never, ever, ever stops working. Now, Tate, because you're going to the game, I know you're going to dig a little deeper here for the Clippers. You're giving us this Clipper Arizona Cardinal money line parlay, which is nice and wonky. Do we got something that maybe is a little bit more safe?
Yeah, this is my third and final bet for you guys. This is a safe one. Russell Westbrook double-double, and you can get this at plus 290 right now. And the other night, by the mid-second quarter, Russell Westbrook had 11 points and 9 assists. And when Bones Highland comes in the game, he's not taking assists away from Russell Westbrook. In fact, he's hitting threes for Russell Westbrook. And I think Russell looks like the Russell Westbrook we all know and love. He talked about his mental health. He talked about how much happier he is. And he also finally decided to defer to someone, right? He never deferred to Kevin Durant. He never deferred to Bradley Beal. He never deferred to LeBron James or Anthony Davis. You know who he defers to? Kawhi Leonard. And I think that he finally is in a position where he does have respect for his number one guy, and he does defer to Kawhi, and he's playing great basketball. And I think he gets the easy double-double tonight and sends a message to the rest of the league. The Clippers are for real.
Fabulous. 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 Some NBA action. Yes, Sal.
Yeah. No, this is a great number. I think plus 290. When you take a guy to hit a double-double and the points is the hard part, I feel like you're getting nice value in there. I don't know, Raheem or House, tell me why this is close to 3-1. I'm looking at his game logs. 9 rebounds the last game. He hit the double-double in his first game Wednesday, the 25th. He had 13 assists and 11 points. And I look back even to 2023. His numbers were right there for a double-double. Why is it as high as almost 3-1?
It's only at that number if you believe that both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are actually going to show up and play in this basketball game and play minutes. I love this bet. I think this is perfect. I'm going to play this, if it's as long as it's in this class of number, because the one thing you can't trust with the LA Clippers is who's going to show up on the floor each night. I know for sure that Russell Westbrook, if both his legs, if both his arms work, he's going to play. He's going to play minutes. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to be going downhill. This double-double is both a fade of his bum teammates who to pick what games they want to show up to and ride with the guy who's got the dog in him. I like this a lot.
For Team Russ here. I like it.
Team Russ, something I never thought I'd ever say. ever. Okay. FanDuel has these weekly specials, Tate. And they make you dig deep. They make you get in the lab. They make you, go through a variety of different assortment of props and weird and wacky stuff that we bring up here at the end of Ringer Wise Guys. Here's mine. And this is going to be right up Sal and House and Raheem's alley because they have no interest and they have no desire to bet on Jets Giants. Guess what I'm going to do, guys? It is pouring rain at MetLife Stadium. Zach Wilson is playing quarterback. Tyrod Taylor is playing quarterback. Let's bet on the Jets Giants to be the lowest scoring game of the day. You got to like that. Plus 500, guys. Come on. Who's in?
I love that your case for this being an important game is, put it on because there's going to be no points scored. So, yes, make it prominent on your big screen there. But I don't mind the reasoning. And, 5-1 is probably a good number.
The only reason that I won't join it is because I had the Giants in the lowest scoring game last week, which was a big winner. The Giants and the C words combined for 21 points. Right. That's the only reason for me to fade it now. But the rationale is legit. Zach Wilson. Honestly, though, Tyrod Taylor might get him cooking. If they can get the ball moving on the ground a little bit, I like that Giants money line play a lot. That's the angle here.
Raheem, I can't get you on board, unfortunately.
No, I think your rationale is perfect. So I think I'm going to ride with you.
All right. So we got a couple of guys riding on that plus 500. Now, House, weekly special. What do we got?
Yeah, I'm staying in this low scoring situation. I like the odds with these. I've hit 2 of the lowest scoring games thus far this season. This time I'm just picking a side. I'm picking the Cleveland Browns to be the lowest scoring team. That's available at 11-1. Now, I know that means that I'm going up against teams like the Tennessee Titans, teams like the C-words, teams like the Raiders. But this situation is bad for the Browns. It's their second straight road game. PJ Walker at quarterback. And the Seattle defense has been kind of quietly successful. It's an improved defense from last season. They can slow things down on the run. The Browns have the issue at running back, and if they force PJ Walker to have to throw the ball, he only has one receiver that he trusts. He tries to get it to Amari Cooper every time. I like the idea of the Seahawks throttling the Browns on this road game with a serious home field advantage.
That game just has ugly written all over it, doesn't it, Tate? PJ Walker at quarterback. Seattle's defense playing better. We know Cleveland's defense is going to be looking to bounce back after that Indianapolis game. They should have lost to the Colts outright last week. I think that's going to be a slot fest still.
And I think you got the defensive rookie of the year potentially there with Witherspoon, right, on the Seahawks. And he was talking a little junk before the game about Deshaun Watson and, him with the doctor. I mean, there's some nice little trash talk in this game, some nice little background. And, I like that Seahawks defense. And as someone who's watched P.J. Walker play too much football as a Carolina Panthers fan, Godspeed to anyone watching that game.
Fair enough. Sal, we know Patrick Mahomes a little under the weather, but that's still going to be a narrative and a theme for your weekly special, huh?
Yeah, you know who's been under the weather all year? The Denver defense. They've had double mononucleosis times 11 players on that defense. So that's why this is a nice FanDuel special. Either Mahomes or Goff has 350 or more passing yards at plus 220. Now, if they both do it, you get 50-1 odds. No, you don't. You still get plus 220. But listen, look, Goff did it. Let's start with him. He did this against the Bucs a couple weeks ago. I think he had 353. He's going against the Raiders, who were 26th in yards per attempt. And then you have Mahomes, 424 last week. Now, I know he's sick, but you have a terrible, terrible defense in the Broncos. Pass defense is 30th, and they're going to be slipping all over. So you got guys who can't stand straight to begin with, and they're going to be slipping. Mahomes knows what the offense is going to do in the snow. Favor the offense right there. So either Mahomes or Goff, 350 or plus yards, plus 220.
All right, Raheem, weekly special, and I don't think our buddy Tate's going to like it.
I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens, highest scoring team.
Oh.
Look, this game is going to resemble Marlowe, Chris, and Snoop taking over West Baltimore. And I expect this Arizona Cardinals team to end up in a vacant. I mean, this defense is awful. They're 31st in defensive DVOA, 32nd in success rate, and 29th in EPA for play. The Ravens are going to be able to name their score. You look at the Cardinals, there's the 7th most points per game. And, some of those games, it felt like the opposing team left meat on the bone. The Cowboys had like 6 red zone trips and only scored 16 points. The Rams, they just left so much meat on the bone. You look at this Cardinals team, they have allowed a league high 33 red zone trips. The Ravens are going to have so many opportunities to score at 10-1. I love this play.
Tate, you got to get in on fun. Weekly special. Let's go.
I'm fired up about this, and I will say I don't have much faith in the Cardinals, but I do like the fact that Gannon, their coach, said that they are not tanking. I just think no one's told him yet, but eventually, you know what I mean, he'll figure that out. But Raheem made some great points there. All right, here's my weekly special. Any 4 of Pollard, Mostert, Hill, Brown, and Lamb to each score 1 or more touchdowns. You can get that at plus 430. I like A.J. Brown, in a divisional game. I feel like he scores a touchdown against the C-words. Apologies to House on that one. Tony Pollard scored 2 touchdowns week 1, hasn't scored since. He's due. He needs a touchdown. Tyreek Hill, he's going to score a touchdown. I just feel like that's inevitable at this point. And CeeDee Lamb, he deserves to score a touchdown for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott needs to throw the ball, air it out a little bit. So I think 4 out of 5 there, at least score a touchdown, and you can get that at plus 430.
All right, guys, we got a bunch of YouTube comments from our wonderful viewers, and we got to one right at the end of the show. This one, guys, comes from Caleb McWaters. Sick Mahomes equals 10 times better than healthy Russell Wilson. And Sal, I'm not going to fight our buddy Caleb on that one.
No. Why? If you're going to be sick, it's against the Broncos. You want to be sick, right? Like if you were to make a schedule before the year and some doctor was going to be like, hey, you're going to be sick one of these games. They're like, oh, that one right there. I'll take that. We already beat them by double digits 2 weeks ago, and Mahomes is going to be just fine. Is this his Jordan game against the 30th ranked pass defense? Maybe so, but I think he's right in this regard.
Well, I was going to say, Patrick Mahomes, take a week off, get right, get your fluids, your IV, all that stuff, and skip the trip to Germany. And
Right.
that way the Miami Dolphins can see Blaine Gabbert next week playing in that 9:30 game. That's going to be an absolute terror for me to watch as we're doing the final 30 minutes of this show. Raheem, what do you think about this? This is from Jackson. What about the Colts as a home dog against the terrible, overrated New Orleans Saints?
There's sharp money all over the New Orleans Saints. I believe that line is up to -2. I think you're on the wrong side of this. This Saints defense is legit. And Gardner Minshew, he's a turnover machine. I think last week the Colts got their big feel-good game, but this is a real letdown spot against, an NFC opponent. So I would stay off the Colts here.
Yeah, and extra time to prepare for New Orleans after that dud of a Thursday night game they had against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Weird game. Indianapolis should have won last week. Indianapolis been in a lot of these games. That's a stay away for me. Complete stay away. Tate, what do you think about this one? Juwan Jennings, over 2.5 catches. No Deebo Samuel today for the Niners. You like that prop?
Yeah, I like it. Without Debo, I feel like the 49ers, they like to sprinkle the ball around. And, I like 2.5 is not a huge number. So, yeah, sign me up. I like that one. It's a good prop.
House, how about this? SGP, and this is right up Tate's alley. 10 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists for Russell Westbrook. So if he falls short maybe by 1 or 2, you're covered. It's kind of like an insurance parlay.
Do you have those? Are all the minimums? Those are the minimum levels to get to?
That's what I was brought. Now, I haven't put in the FanDuel calculator yet, so I have no idea what it pays out. I couldn't tell you.
The only thing that would worry me about that is assists, because I don't trust any of those bums on the Clippers to knock down open shots. I'm down on the Clippers this year, fellas. I don't believe in them. But if both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard decide that this is a basketball game they want to play, maybe it's national TV because they get the Wemby bounce, then I like the assist part coming through. And I never worry about Russell Westbrook and rebounds. He's at the rim every single chance he gets.
All right, boys. That's going to do it for the digital time edition of Ringer Wise Guys. Tate Frasier thank you so much for joining us. You're playing hurt after the Cousin Sal Halloween party, and you still get up at 8 in the morning. You're a trooper.
Yeah, I did my best, but shout out to you guys. You're the real heroes out there, getting up way earlier than. So,
well, mind you,
having
listen,
fun.
maybe Sal, House, Raheem, and I are on the East
You guys
Coast.
are living the
So,
dream, that's right.
no
I haven't gone to sleep yet.
Well, Raheem, that's no surprise. You're a creature of the night. You're a creature of the morning.
JJ has being on the East Coast. He has 3 extra hours to figure out the name of your show, Tate. And he's still
Right.
can't-
Through the ringer.
crossed.
I'm never
Fingers
getting
crossed.
it wrong again. That's it. For Cousin Sal, for Joe House, for Raheem Palmer, our buddy Tate Frasier, the esteemed host of Through the Ringer, was nice enough to join us. JJ, John Jastremski signing off. Enjoy the football. Same time, same place. Next week. Be good, everybody.
All right.